Okay, so today on The Balanced Life, we're going to be talking about the stress of moving and not just like whining about stress, but also some things to try to help minimize the stress of a move. Now, this is not going to be exhaustive, of course, but there are some little tips here that you may not have considered, and I would love to have some of your tips in the comments below. So please share them, maybe some of your experiences to help other people who will be watching this video so that they can learn from your experiences because you know what? We assume that everybody knows this stuff, but even I continue to learn. So if you're facing a move, here are some suggestions that can help make things smoother. Um, First of all, wherever you're moving, particularly if it's an apartment or a rental of some kind, ask the place for the full process and for clarification on each step. Like, so if they say, first of all, you're going to have to fill out the application. Okay, what will you need for the application? Is there any outside proof I need to bring in? This is also true, like when you're trying to get a mortgage. What things am I going to need for underwriting? They're never going to give you an exhaustive list on a mortgage. On apartments, it's a little bit more straightforward, but ask them specifically. This is particularly true if you have pets. Make sure that there's not breed restrictions. Make sure that your dog will be approved before you even go through the process. If you have a pet and they have restrictions, check with them on the pet first before you spend whatever the $175, $200 application fee that you're going to pay at the apartment. When you're looking at a mortgage, find out if your income's going to count. If you've been self-employed for 18 months, it's not going to count. They want 2 years. So make sure if that's your sole income that you know and see if there's something to work with, or maybe you just need to tell yourself, no, I have to wait another 7 months. But ask. Number 2, if you can overlap by a week or a month, do it. A week for an apartment, a month for like a house move. If you're able to do that, if you can afford it, if you can get everything handled that way, do that because it will minimize your stress quite a bit to not have to be out and in on the same day. Those pods are really great, or if you have movers, if there's no other way of doing it, that can work as well. But try, like most of us who are moving into apartments or things like that, we're not going to have enough stuff that we're going to hire movers. But try not to have to be completely cleared out of one place and completely into the next place, even if it's a day or two. The difference is tremendous. I've tried to move somebody in a single day. I've tried to move somebody over a weekend, and I've tried to move myself over the course of a month. And the month is way better. Number 3, like I said, make sure on pets. This means breed restrictions. This means restrictions on number, size, weight. This also means make sure you have all of their shot records up to date, but that you have the actual physical records printed out on the vet's letterhead. Make sure you have all that stuff. Make sure you have licensing and all that into consideration. Number 4, it will cost a lot of money. This is something that still blows my mind about moving even between apartments is when we were moving in actually March 1st of 2020, so the week before the lockdown started in the state of Ohio, two of our daughters moved in together because they went to the same school in their first apartment on their own. And even though we only live like 20, 25 minutes from their apartment, and even though they'd been living in the dorms, and like I said, this was before the lockdowns, one was living in a dorm and moved from the dorm to the apartment. So she had the whole semester to move over because she wasn't really moving in until, well, it got fast forwarded because of the lockdowns. But the plan was for her to not move over there until the end of the semester because she had already been living in the dorm. But the other one had been living at home because she had been doing a study abroad. And so she lived at home until she got the apartment and then transitioned down the apartment. Even with that, the cost to get them moved in was hundreds of dollars. And it just, so be ready. Have, I would say if you're moving even local, have a couple $1,000s set aside because between having to pay deposits here and here and here, it is incredibly expensive to move. I didn't even realize it. I've been in the same place for 22 years. Moved kids in and out of dorms, thought it was easy. Make sure you have money. I would love if some of you guys could share in the comments below what you've had to pay. I only know like in Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, this kind of area, what people pay. But like if you've moved a house, I have never moved a house. Like I moved from a little rental to my house. I've lived here, like I said, for over 22 years now, almost 22 and a half years. Um, the day I move here, I just dread. um, Number four, like I said, it will cost quite a bit. Number five, try not to move last minute. Um, if you have a sudden job change, I realize you can't always do that. And for those of you who have had that happen, if you can talk about how you did it in the comments below, help us to learn from you, that would be awesome. But my daughter, she got a job interview and, everything was all great. And one of the apartments was like, yeah, we could have you in with by the end of the week, no problem. But that's not really where she wanted to be. There was another one that was much more conveniently located and was better and all this stuff, and it cost about the same. And so she wanted to go there, and it was just like it took 3.5 weeks, and still it was rushed. So try not to move last minute if you can avoid it. If you have to do it, be prepared to spend extra money and maybe sell off or give away or have to throw away things that you didn't want. What she ultimately found that she had to do was leave some of her furniture at the old apartment, like throw some of it away, give it to people, things like that, like leave things behind, because it was cheaper to leave it and buy it secondhand in the new city than it was to get a rental and pay the gas back and forth. So that's a creative idea if you need one. And number six, show appreciation to those who are making your life better, whether it's people that are helping you move, whether it's people at the new place where you're moving, whether it's people that are helping you close on your house. Moving is very stressful, and people tend to take their anxiety out on those around them. And so some of these people have pretty stressful jobs dealing with complaints and angry and all this. And so taking a minute to just show some gratitude will not only make their life better, but will also potentially help you down the road when they realize, you know what, you were a good person to me and you were kind to me, even though this was a very stressful situation. So moving can be stressful. I would love to hear, like I said, your stories and learn from you, because someday I will probably move from where I'm at now, and this is my chance to learn from you. But here's what I have learned over the last 3 or 4 years that I wanted to share with you and those of you who, like me, might be facing moving your kids out soon. I will see you in the next video.